Hey, it's Ed. Welcome to another edition of Lessons from My Mentor. This one goes to Kevin Roberts. I've just been spending a lot of time with him lately, actually. And if you don't know from previous episodes, Kevin was really responsible. He was CFO of University Hospitals, where I first became a CIO. And they took a big risk on me, and the CEO took a big risk. And Kevin was definitely my advocate to really be the linchpin to make it happen. And then I sort of followed him since then. He's been a mentor, formal mentor, and informal for over 20 plus years. And so we're connected still today, and I still learn from him and spending a lot of time with him. So I'll give credit to him. And this is the concept, just let people go. So sometimes we struggle with, right, the stress of time. Everyone does. I say sometimes. I think about everyone does all the time. And one area where people waste a lot of time, I do it as well. So I'm preaching to myself, but always reminding myself, is let people go. And I think issues as well. So if they're not core to what you need to be doing and be focused on, just let it go. So otherwise they become time sucks. And so there might be a person that you really want to get to that you almost feel like you have to rescue, and they're just not responsive. And you try, let them go. It's not worth it. It can be the same, you're trying to salvage a relationship. So I have business relationships, and it could be a peer, and it has been a peer. And I'm like doing everything I can to connect with that peer, try to make things work. And at some point, you just have to realize it's not going to happen. So you're going to do the best you can, of course, super professional, do the right thing for the organization, of course, but you're not going to have that optimal relationship. Let them go. It's going to cause you a lot of stress without change. It's going to cost you a lot of time without change. Some people aren't ready. And it's the same with certain issues. Is it really worth it on that particular issue to fall on the sword, to invest all the time when you know the probability of success isn't there? So let them go. So it's going to be a hard message, but it's super, super important that you don't end up wasting a lot of cycles on different things. So again, I deal with this all the time. Various things happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to just keep at it. And you try, and your heart is right. Your intentions are right. And nothing is changing. You just have to let them go. And I always just release them. And sometimes I literally talk to myself, and I'm like, and because my faith, I will incorporate my faith in a lot of this, but I'll be like, God, thank you for bringing them into my life. And thank you for the opportunity to learn from them or to share with them. And I've tried, and I don't know what else to do except to let them go. And so thank you for bringing them into my life. And now I'm just letting them go. And you have to do that. Another example would be, and I just try to be super real with you, there are some people that I really care about that for whatever reason, they became part of the Mean Girls. If you followed some of my previous episodes, maybe I was at one point really tight with them. They got mean girled, and now I'm no longer tight with them, but part of me wants to, hey, we used to run together, or we used to do this together. But I realized nothing I can do is going to change where they are now. So I just have to let it go. And it could be hard because in some cases they were actual friends, right? And you did something together. You confided in one another. You mentored one another, whatever it might be. And so you don't want to let it go, but you just have to, because otherwise it's going to be a time suck and a stress suck. So again, whatever it is for you, maybe it's like putting their name. And I remember I did this one time. I grew up Catholic. And I remember one time we would write our sins on a piece of paper. And then we would have this very symbolic, we would go up to an altar, put the paper on an altar, and the priest would light it, and basically saying, this is how God views the sin. You are forgiven and the sin is no more, go out and do better. So it's the same sort of thing. Whatever it is for you. For me, it's this sort of almost like a meditative thing. Like, okay, I release, and I name the person. I name the person. That's what's helpful for me. For you, maybe you write on a piece of paper and burn it. And here's another one that I've done. This one's maybe the best one, but you got to live near a beach to do it. Is you write their name in sand on the beach, and you do it in low tide. And then as the tide is coming in, it's a really slow process, but it's almost like a memorial. Like, hey, that person was really important to me, and I'm thankful to that person. So this is never done in a mean spirit. This is done in love, in kindness. And so as their name slowly washes away, it's a sort of a gradual thing, and you can just sort of release them and let them go. Now, the other benefit in some of these cases is to that person that you released. It's much like forgiveness. We often struggle in forgiveness and may use some of the same techniques I just shared, like forgiving others who have wronged against us. But oftentimes you yourself are the one that's put in prison when you don't forgive, not the person who transgressed against you. So it's good to forgive for many, many reasons and release that person into their own freedom, but it also releases you. And so I found that very healing for myself. Like, again, I can think of several people right now as I'm sharing with you, and I had to do this process and it released me as well. So lessons from my mentor: let people go. Sometimes it's not just people, but ideas or campaigns of some sort. You just got to let them go and move on with life. You're going to have more time. You're going to feel much better. And again, they probably will as well.